Buongiorno. It's Layperson Lisa with a reflection for the readings of the 23rd Sunday in Ordinary Time. So I'm coming to you from Italy, and we just a few days ago saw the Eucharistic miracle of Lanciano, Italy. And the priest had doubts about the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. And one day at Mass during the consecration, the host turned into flesh. And this happened in the 700s, and we, in 2024, were able to see in a monstrance the flesh that the host had turned into. And it was cardiac, it was heart tissue. And today's readings are about opening up our hearts. In the first reading, we hear how that God is always with us and that He calls us to fear not, to be strong. In the gospel, Jesus says to be open. He's talking about the man's deaf ears, but He could really be talking about our hearts, to open our hearts fully to Him, allowing Him to minister to us, especially when we're going through trials or struggles or sufferings. Yesterday, we visited the place where Padre Pio lived. He had the stigmata for over 50 years of his priesthood, and it was just so painful. Towards the end of his life, he had to have help celebrating Mass. He got permission to sit down because he was suffering. Yet he was still able to open his heart to Jesus. He invited him into his suffering so that it became redemptive. In fact, Padre Pio asked Jesus to allow him to be a victim soul. And as a result of that, he was spiritually attacked, and he had the stigmata, the 5 wounds of Christ. And Jesus wants us to open our hearts to Him on every level. And what we must do is to spend time with Him in prayer each and every day. By spending time with Him, by opening our hearts and our minds to Him each day, we can grow in a deeper intimacy with Him. And it's like having a conversation. It's like spending time with someone that you love. And as you spend time with each other, as you conversate, you grow closer. And that's what God is calling us to do. When this happens, when we spend this quality time, this intentional time with Him, we grow in a deeper intimacy so that we may be strong in our identity as beloved daughters of the King of the universe, who we have access to at any time. When we grow in intimacy with Jesus, when we have a deeper relationship with Him, the efficacy of the sacraments becomes even greater. Yes, the sacraments are powerful on their own, but when we open our hearts up to Jesus each and every day, in each and every moment, the efficacy of the graces that we receive at the sacraments is even deeper. Things that bothered us in the past no longer bother us. We grow in humility. Yesterday we had adoration, and during adoration we prayed the Litany of Humility, and so many of the things just strike me because there are things that I struggle with, like, the desire to be approved. Well, deliver me, Jesus. The desire to be loved, deliver me, Jesus. The desire to be consulted, deliver me, Jesus. Because all that really matters is Him. What other people think of us, how other people treat us. When we grow in deeper intimacy with Jesus, we are not affected at the level that maybe we once were. And so I invite you to ask God to reveal to you where you are, where you need to open your heart to Him on a deeper level. If you're having trouble fitting prayer into your daily routine, it's the most, in spiritual advisement, I talk to people and they're like, I'm just too busy. It's hard for me to sit down and spend time with Jesus. Well, this is the most important time of your day, this time with Jesus. It's not something that we should just try to fit in. It's something that we should try to prioritize. So if you're having trouble fitting this into your schedule, ask Jesus to help you find the time that works for you so that you can be consistent, because He desires so much, He thirsts so much to spend this time with you. And the thing is, he plants that desire in our hearts as well. So if you feel that thirst, like, oh, maybe I need to change up my prayer routine so that I can have this quality, intentional time with him, that's coming from God. And that's just a sign of how he is desiring to grow in intimacy with you. He just desires for you to say yes, to opening your heart to him on a deeper level. Ciao, ciao.